Hi ho guys, how are we today? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Chitty Chat Room. So I've decided to do like a little series on this, and I may extend it to the other side as well. But I did a video Father's Day pertaining to the importance of fathers and the issues that I saw. And I gave that video from one particular perspective because most of the men that I know have this issue. You know what I mean? But there are some issues where this isn't the case. The mother isn't standing in the way. The father has chosen, for whatever reason, to not take part in his child or children's lives. And this is always very unfortunate when I see this. It's unfortunate because this man leaves a trail of broken hearts. The mother, because she wants the father to be in her kid's life because they want their father to be in their life. And the children, you know what I mean? You leave a whole family of broken hearts behind when it's the situation that the man has not done his healing and is not taking part in the life he helped to create. Let me turn this down a little bit. I think it's out talking to me. And so I feel like there are a host of different reasons for that, at least from what I can see. There are a lot of different dynamics when it goes to the father parenting. You know what I mean? There's like so many different dynamics. I can't even begin to do all in one video. But this particular one, we're going to focus on when the father is absent and he has chosen this absence one way, shape, form, or fashion. And what I mean by that, you have some that I feel some of the categories and the reasons that some of the men are missing is because they didn't have a father. If you looked at my father video, the Father's Day video, 3 things that a father gives a child is provision, providing for, protection, giving them the information they need and making sure they keep them in situations that they keep them safe, and instruction. A father gives instruction, especially to sons. If you look at it, most sons or most guys imitate someone or another, whether it's their dad or uncle or someone, that some of their habits are going to be imitated from some male figure that they had in their life, whether it was a homeboy, because some men, they had to get that male feedback from their homeboy. It's almost like they have to have that masculine feedback. I think it's just human nature. Girls the same way. We look at our moms and we pick up certain things. Like, I don't think there's one woman alive that does not have at least one characteristic of her mother. You know what I mean? So I could be wrong. That's my theory, y'all. In any event, you have a situation where, let's say situation A, where the father is absent and it looks like he's over here living his best life. You know what I mean? That's always very unfortunate because the reality at the end of the day is he is not happy fully in his life, for the simple fact he knows that he has shut off a part of his life. You know what I mean? So and it's the situation where I feel like those men either didn't have a good role model for a father, or they're afraid they're going to be like their father. You know what I mean? Like, some men grew up and they had vicious fathers that beat them, fathers that were emotionally abusive, or fathers that were rejective. Some of us had narcissistic parents. So when you grow up like that, You know what I mean? There's this subconscious fear that you're like that because you're from that. That's the seed in which you came from. So you have to, a man has to think to himself, what part of that trickled down on me? You know what I mean? You may not be just like that parent, but they may have to process what part of that trickled down on them. So they may subconsciously be thinking that they're keeping the child safe or the children safer by not being in their lives. And I know that's like a messed up way to see it, but it really works like that. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, that just sounds like a bunch of stuff that to say it's okay. No, I'm not saying any of this is okay. What I'm saying is these are the reasons that we're experiencing some of the absences of the fathers voluntarily. You know what I mean? My last video catered to men who were being kept from their children. This video pertains to men who have voluntarily decided not to be the outstanding dad that they should be. You know what I mean? So, in those group of men, there are a lot of different variables and scenarios that mentally, and all this is mental. You know what I'm saying? Think about why, if you're the mom and your dad is not, your child's dad is not voluntarily being there, what are some of the issues you had with that person? Does it kind of reflect, you know what I'm saying, where they may be as a person? And if they're there as a person and you couldn't change it and your child couldn't change it, then maybe that person has to really want that change. Maybe that person has to work through and get the healing that they need to get that change. And some have to desire it enough. That's hurtful, but some have to desire it enough. Some people don't love themselves enough to know what's best for them or to do what's good for them. And in my mind, children are blessings. They're messages to help you critique your journey. You know what I mean? They reflect certain things back to you. And if you miss that blessing and that reflection, then you missed your gift. You missed a gift. And that's whether you're a father or a mother. If you missed that blessing, you missed a gift. You did. So for someone not to want to connect with that part of their self, it speaks to me that another part of themselves is broken. And I say that to say this. If you're the mom and you're in the situation, don't take it personally. It's not you. It's something that they have to go through to figure out who they need to be. And some people just have to simply have the gumption to want to. Let that not reflect on you and how you love and parent your child. The best advice that I could give any woman in this situation is to make sure that you've undergone your healing, or you're undergoing your healing, or you're willing to undergo your healing. And I say that to say this. If you don't undergo your healing, you're going to attract similar men, because there is a message in that person. And if you didn't get the message will repeat itself and will show up in the form of something else you like. So you got to go through your healing to get the message that you were supposed to get from that. That's supposed to be your testimony. It's supposed to make you better. It's like a, what do you call it? A slingshot. And you put the rock in the thing, and it's like a little wire, and you pull it back, and boom, you got to pull it back to propel it forward. And depending on how far you pull it back, depending on how far forward it goes, right? So I look at that in very much the same way. That thing that sets you back is that very thing, when you figure out the message, that will push you forward. And if you're a single dad and this is the opposite, same for you. You know what I mean? I don't like to exclude anyone. So, but this is really, you know what I mean, more so for the ladies in this situation. It's the single moms that have that burden of not having that parent being emotionally and mentally there. Some women just need the man to just spend some time with the kids. It ain't even about the child support or the lack of the funds. You know, the lack of provision. They're willing to overlook all of that if you just come and spend some time with your kids. Just spend some time with them. Show them some love. Reflect to them that they're not broken. That's just what some women want. That man to be man enough to reflect to his seeds that they're not broken. That they don't carry on that burden or that gift, because when they're absent, that's the gift that they pass down. It's like a horrible gift, like I said this in another video, that's been passed down from generation to generation. We don't have generational curses. We have people refusing to go and take the healing and go on the journey of working on themselves to the point where they're not moving in unhealthy behavior. It's not curse. It's curse if you call it a curse. If your dad gave it to you and his dad gave it to him, you have to make the decision, do you want to give it to yours? Break the curse. You know what I mean? But back to those fathers who are not there and the mothers who have to be that strong rock, that foundation, that everything. To the mothers who have it the hardest, in my opinion. The absolute hardest. I've been a single mom, but I've seen some situations that would make me just break down and cry, because it's just disappointing how some men don't show up for their seeds. You know what I mean? And they tell themselves and they rationalize it however they want, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you're choosing not to show up for your seed. You know what I mean? Even some men do it subconsciously to the point where they'll get with a chick, right? And the chick is lightweight, causing conflict, but not. But is the reason that they can't see their kids, because the mom doesn't want the parent around the chick, right? So I'm not saying that any man should have to just eat crow and do whatever a chick say. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But if it came down to me seeing my kids, they would hear, as this person, I would be, you know what I'm saying, however it was with them, but they really would never hear about that person. And it would be the situation where I'm going to see my kids, and if you love me, you're going to have to understand that if you're in the picture, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't interact with you and the kids. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a sad fact that if that woman hasn't taken her healing and that's the you know, the shot she calling, how bad do you want to see your kids? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You know what I mean? So you got some men that'll subconsciously say, it's just a situation like that, I'm not going to stop living my life. Well, no one's asking you to do that. But conceal enough of it that you can see your kids. You know what I mean? So you have so many different issues out there that keeps a father out of a kid's life. But the reality is some of those issues are for the best. Some of these men are in an unhealthy state and they can't be what they need to themselves, much less their children. And so you may be dodging a bullet. You know what I mean? Some are some pretty unhealthy situations, y'all. Pretty unhealthy. You may be dodging a bullet by keeping your, you know what I'm saying, not keeping, by your child not being around this person in their environment. You know what I mean? Some environments I've seen that it's like, yo, I would probably pimp smack my children's dad if I walked up in a situation and my kids were being maintained in this way. You know what I mean? Like, a pimp named Slickback would pop up out of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations, y'all, that, you know, you're seeing it as rejection, but really it's God, universe, source, creation, whatever you see it as. saving you and your children. You know what I mean? So as unfortunate and as sad as the fact is, that's the fact. And then, you know, like I said, you have to just really focus on your healing and making sure that, because here's what your healing is going to do. Your healing is going to create healthy children. Because as you live a healthier mentally emotional life, you will see that theirs will change as well. Some of the little frets and fears that they have, you know, they'll start to dissipate because you're in a stable place and you're their foundation. At the end of the day, you're their foundation. It's not right. It's not fair that you have to do it all. Trust me, I know. Baby girl, I could sit down and cry and fight with you, but there's really nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do about it is make sure that we're healed, we're healthy for them. And that's the gift that we give our children, that we're healthy, we're healed. Now, I can say that from my perspective on both videos. The other one where I talk about the man and then myself, because there was a point in my life where, you know what I'm saying, the girl was a little crazy, y'all, little crazy. You know what I'm saying? I understand R. Kelly's "You Saved Me" song a lot. so, you know, I've undergone my healing now. You know what I mean? And a lot of that has to do with a solid spiritual life. You know what I mean? A great deal of that has to do with a solid spiritual life. The rest is me kind of forming a healthy life inside and out. You know what I mean? Like from the way I eat to exercise to taking accountability for my mental health, meaning when I feel I need to see a therapist, I see a therapist. I'm currently seeing a therapist. You know what I mean? Just because you heal from one thing, you kind of find other things along the way that you need to kind of just take care of and tweak this and that. It's never over. Your healing journey never completely seems to completely end. You find a place of completeness, but you always find little things. It's like, okay, let me tweak that. You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing, because as you tweak these things and you take the time to focus on those things, you feel better and better about you as a person. You have to rewire your thinking from those negative, self-doubting, self-sabotaging, self-demeaning thoughts to positive thoughts. You have to see you in a positive light. And then those things, I promise you, they won't hurt as bad. They'll still hurt, but not as bad. You'll be able to kind of roll it off your shoulder at that point, because you've taken on the healing you need for yourself. And you know that you're a solid rock foundation for you and your offspring. So that's the best advice that I have for the ladies who have to deal with these situations where the men are not who they need to be. That means you got to pull 200, because it's just you. Is it fair? Is it fun? No. But it will also, I'm sorry, I forgot to list the second thing. Now, the second thing your healing and health will produce, other than your healthy children, is you'll start to attract healthy males around you that are good role models for your children. You know what I mean? So that they can, because I feel like children need to see it from both sides, whether you're a girl or whether you're a boy. You need to see the adult dynamic from both sides, male and female. Like if you're a girl and you're, you know what I'm saying, and the father's not in the picture and it's just you and your mom, you still need to see a healthy male, because she's going to look for that male attention. If it's not that healthy male that's in your life, and not, you know, saying it has to, whatever the relationship is, whether it's platonic or, you know what I'm saying, it's deeper than that, but you will start to attract healthier men once you go on your healing journey, once you get deep in your healing journey and start to figure out who you are on a deeper level. You know what I mean? I think we all have an idea of who we are. That's, you know, but on a deeper level, when you start to take that journey and find those puzzle pieces on a deeper level, A lot of this stuff doesn't matter as much as you thought it did. And then you find a better place of peace. So I would also like to apologize for the guys. We won't label them as men. You know what I mean? For the guys who have not gone on their healing journey to take the responsibility in their rightful place to be a great instructor, provider, and protector. We're going to pray for them, though. You know what I mean? If you believe in prayer, put one in the air. For the one that is not there. You know what I mean? So, y'all have a most amazing day. You all will be in my prayers. You all have my utmost respect and gratitude for fighting for two. Or however you, that person, and however many kids you got. You know what I mean? You fighting for the whole crew. I commend you. And at the end of the day, your blessings will arrive. Stay strong. Stay uplifted. And y'all, let's make this world a better place for these kids we have. Have a good day, y'all. Peace, love, and light.